Done with that segment. Moving on to player breakdown, fantasy league based. This is where this list is still required. All right. So I say fantasy league based because I just did a roster breakdown. I give you a little bit of info about. I say a little bit, but to some people that might have been a lot of info about some of these SPL players, for most of them. Now, I say fantasy league based because I think this is a team you're going to want to pick up. Now, I'm going to say this, and you're going to. I'm going to type it in chat while I do it. Sorry, YouTube. I'm not good at YouTube stuff, so you guys are just gonna have to listen. I'm not gonna type it out. I'm just not good at that stuff. Alright, so my thoughts on the top team possible in the fantasy league. The reason I'm typing this out is so I can stay sane and remember what I'm looking at here. We're gonna go left to right through this list. This is not the order I recommend you pick it in. You need to prioritize whatever you need to prioritize if you are in the fantasy league. If you're not in the fantasy league, continue watching this show throughout the entire season so you can see what's going on, whether it's on Twitch or on YouTube. Now, I will say the first ADC I would prioritize on this list. Let's say you're all right. First of all, I'm going to give you the criteria of what you should be drafting based off of. Obviously, you have to do this based off past performance because we haven't seen any play in Season 6 yet. Let me give you the best criteria to do this with. Now, your number one criteria is consistency. What is their consistency for how they play KDA and objective-wise? You know, are they consistently negative? Are they consistently even? Are they consistently positive? Or are they consistently going off and just like 10, 2, and 6, you know? So after consistency comes kills. You know, is this someone who gets a lot of kills? Is this someone who does not? Their kills comes how much does their team win? I'm only putting it as 3. These are 3 basic points. If you personally want to go more in depth, that's fine. I just use those as 3 general for anyone can use to draft a good team. So, based off of that, you're going to want vote Archeal or Ataraxia. Now, if you base it off Season 5, I'm going to tell you right now, you want Archeal. Period, end of story. I'm just going to tell you that right now. Vote during the summer split was the top ADC, period. Fall split and summer split, not so much. Well, summer split, no, not summer, spring split. Anyway, Twitch chat. Anyway, spring split vote was more balanced with other ADCs. Summer split vote just, oh my. Remember, this is based off fantasy league, so keep in mind what I'm saying. I had vote on my fantasy league when I did in the summer last year. That dude scores points. But that was the summer. In comes fall. Archeal. Oh, easily your top ADC. Period. Like I said, you got the only Penta at Worlds. He's the only one who came close to a Penta at Worlds. I think the Season 6 right now, this is your number 1 draft. Obviously, that is what I think. If you guys, you know, some of you may think Cyclone Spin, reasonable. They just won Worlds. He got into the ADC role in time, and they just popped off. Obviously, he could be one if you want. But me personally, my priority ADC picks for the fantasy league would be Vote, Archeal, Ataraxia, and then you could throw Cyclone Spin in there if you want to. Now, some people, I'm gonna say this now. I already know this is how some people will think. Do not pick a player because you like them. Do not do it. Why? Because Barracuda. You know a lot of people like Barracuda. Barracuda may not be the most consistent person to get you high points. Remember, if you want to win that fantasy league, you need points. So anyway, moving on from ADC, we choose Archeal. Comes in support. Support, you have Aurora, Callus, Jeff, Nier, Eonic, Millsy, Raffer, Polar Bear Mike, Trickstank, and Kiki. Telling you right now, Millsy, PBM, Trickstank, top 3. Me, I'm taking Millsy in this situation. Millsy has proven he's very consistent. He's really good. PBM, I think last year, actually, these two were actually top supports for the longest time. You can take either of those two. Trickstank, I think he's a lot better than a lot of people think. And hopefully with this team, and Araxia, he'll become even more consistent than he already was. And he can put up, I think these are your 3 for big points. Raffer obviously can. Aurora being on Spice, obviously can. But we also want to avoid picking 2 from the same team. More than 2 from the same team. Because you look, I'm gonna body, please, not now. Anyway, because when it comes to this, I lost my train of thought. And someone in the chat is saying, what about Neil? Neil, here's the thing. This team stay together. You have EUNA mixed teams now that look a lot stronger than this. Neil's still newer as a support. He came into his own towards Worlds, but the question for him is, will that hold over, or will he go back to the Neil everyone knows? And it's more of an up and down with him, because this is fantasy league based. You have to think about consistency as well. Neil can do it, but the question is, for me, overall consistency in your SPL history, these 3 are a lot more consistent. Right off the bat, teams stay together, I feel, are going to be consistent to start. Yes, they will be consistent to start. There's no doubt about that. The problem is, all these other teams have their time to get chemistry together. That's the thing. You still have all these other teams who are getting their practice in. They all come out like, good to go, fresh off the bat. These teams that have been together, there's no guarantee they'll perform well against them. So, the teams that stay together will have chemistry. Consistency is more of individual play than it is for rules for fantasy. We are getting to all that later on. Here, you're asking for anyone and for YouTube, may not. Fantasy League info is next. We're just going over this since I just did the roster breakdowns. So, we're going to pick up Archaeal, then Millsy, and comes to mid lane. This, I'm gonna hit you guys with a little thing. Right now, Zeros and Paul are your top 2 picks. I'm just gonna say it out loud, period, end of story. Paul, actually, just do higher than Zeros, because you guys have so many carries that can get a lot of kills. But, in this one, ooh. You still have Venenu, but... Right, I'm just going to stick with priority. So Zeros or Paul is what I'd say in this situation. Maybe Hurrywin, because he can pop off. He doesn't have school to focus on anymore. I'm going to stick with... I'm going to go with Paul. There's a reason to this madness. I did not type. Paul. Paul is my mid. So as you can see, we have Archaeal. Oh, wait. Oh, I can do that. You know what? No, we'll stick with Paul. We'll stick with Paul. It's fine. Paul Zeros, we'll say, are interchangeable here. Number 1, number 2. Yeah, I'd say either of those would be fine in this situation. On the jungle, we have Sino, Ice, Andy, Sam, Weekend, Adapting, Cherio, Twig, Evo, Mollusk. I'm going to say this because it's a land. Cherio has earned his right into this conversation. You easily have Ice, Adapting, Cuvo, and Cherio to pick from as your top 4. I'm going to tell you Cuvo and Adapting are the top 2 that you're going to want to pick from. This situation, we have picked up Arkeel, Minsley, and Paul. I'm going to tell you right now, based off consistency in the Fantasy League, Adapting has earned negative points before Cuvo, but he can also earn insane, like the most points there is. So, you know, high risk, high reward. He's got some risk, but he's also high reward. I mean, ideally, we're just going to take Adapting. I'm going to be honest, Adapting is going to be your ideal pick. So, now, no longer pick anyone from Pittsburgh Nice. We used up our 2 picks from them, so did not get Deathwalker. But that leaves us Variety. That is who will take our solo lane spot in 10. So it's me, with the exception of Zeros and Paul being interchangeable. And if you do take Zeros instead of Paul, you want Cuvo because you can't have Adapting, and that will give you Cuvo and Variety. Sorry, guys. So right now, here is, in my opinion, your number 1 fantasy draft. End of story. Arkeel and Millsy, Paul, Adapting, Variety. My personal opinion. After that, obviously, you're gonna want any of the one of the other players that I talked about, and you guys are gonna have to. I mean, it's really just gonna come down to where you are in the draft. You know, you're not the number 1 is, it's good to get the first pick, but you're also gonna, the second round, you're gonna get the last pick. Then you don't get the first pick, but then you'll get the last pick and then the first pick. So you can get 1 or 2 top picks, maybe, but most likely your Adapting will probably be picked right away. You're gonna have to go from there. So whatever you guys prioritize. Saying Cyclone, Neil, Paul, Dino. See, you say that, but I would disagree for the fantasy league. On paper, that looks like a good team, but points wise, no, disagree. Because I'm talking about number 1 points possible. What is most likely going to win you the fantasy league? So that's why we got to get to what we got to get to. So that does it for